Hello and welcome, Inspired Podcast community. This is your new episode. My name is Caroline, and my today's guest is Orla. And I think you have to help me with your last name, of course. How are you doing?
Hi, Caroline. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, so my full name is Orla Mairead. It's an Irish name. And yeah, I'm doing well. Thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. I'm so excited, and I heard about the Irish names. They are special to pronounce for me as a foreigner, as German people,
I know.
person. And I would introduce you to the audience a little bit. So, you are an astrologer, yoga teacher, and musician, passionate about helping people connect to their inner selves. Through astrology, yoga, and music, they guide others on a playful journey towards self awareness and contentment. Inspired by the cosmos, she finds harmony in movement, meditation, and inner child work. You have to tell us more about that and what you do daily basis. What inspires you today?
Wow, today what inspires me most is nature. I found a massive connection with nature in the last, I suppose, in the recent years. But I'm learning more and more, yeah, about like our surroundings and how we can learn so much from seeing, animals and nature just living, just being, and knowing inherently like what to do and how to live their lives, and slowing down and trusting the process and going with the flow and all of these things. So yeah, I love learning from the elements and learning from the cosmos and from nature and from animals and from plants. I think there's so much to be inspired by. Every day I go for a walk and I'm just like amazed.
Oh, that's so true. Thank you for sharing. And most of the people forget about that, or they live in big cities where is no nature. And I checked out your Instagram channel.
Ooh.
It is no, not so intensively, but the pictures there are also very related to nature as well. I love that. Very inspiring for me. Please check out Orla. Follow her everywhere. She's amazing. We heard about that. The first question. The next question for me is, who inspires you? Are there coaches and mentors you have for yourself? And who was the best coach you ever had?
Oh wow. That's a great question. I suppose I started this whole journey about like 5 years ago or so, and I think the mentor I had at the time was my ex, and I learned a lot through being in relationship with another person about myself and the way that I behave and stuff. And so I started seeing a therapist as well to uncover some of the ways that I behave and like why I react in certain ways and what triggers me. And I'm still working. I still work with this therapist today, and so she's one of my um, biggest yeah guides in this world. And yeah, and then I suppose myself as well, because I learned so much from bringing awareness to the way that I am and the way that I behave and the way that I relate to other people. And yeah, like learn from myself and learn how to improve the ways that I react and behave so that I feel more content with myself and with how I relate to other people and how I live my life. Mm.
Oh, I love that answer. Thank you so much. This is the best part about exploring ourselves and learning because the answers are already here, right? And when we go
Mm.
into nature and stillness, it will all show up. This is so
Mm.
beautiful. Thank you for sharing. And I want to know how you inspire other people.
Mm. I hope that I inspire other people by the way that I am and the way that I live my life. I try to slow down as much as possible, try to get away from this whole capitalist mindset of go, 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 and, earning a living and, making dollar bills and this whole hustle culture. I hope to show and that it's possible to slow down and to enjoy your life, and also not just like the happy positive sides of life, but actually also to encounter your dark sides and your shadow sides, and to know that actually life gets easier once you face these things and learn how to handle them without having to rely on coping mechanisms that maybe you picked up from your childhood or whatever, and that you can grow so much when you grow your capacity for discomfort, and you show yourself that you can handle any situation that comes into your life and that you will be just fine. And it just allows you to live your life to your fullest capacity, and yeah, to grow more and more. So I hope that's how I
Wow.
inspire
Yeah.
people.
This was very inspiring. You know, it is in a little sentence we overhear it often, and this is where I have to re-listen to this episode again, because what you just said about handling discomfort is so important, because most of the people out there are, and I was one of them, are avoiding, like, let's say, bad feelings or their shadows, or and then we blame other people for that, because we say not us, it's out there and it has nothing to do with us, instead of facing, really looking at what's going on, because it shows up to help us, right?
Exactly.
Mhm, mhm.
Yeah, and taking accountability for what shows up in your life. You're in the end, you're the only one who's going to be able to change your life if you want it to change, of course. Um, yeah, so yeah, taking accountability for the way that you behave and the way that you handle discomforts, and yeah, finding new ways that are more soothing to your nervous system, and yeah, that can be more helpful.
Oh, this is so true. And my next question about your gifts and talents, I want to ask, of course, about astrology, because I'm not so familiar. I mean, yeah, we have this general knowledge about the zodiac signs. I think this is the word in English, but then it stops what I am concerned. So can you tell us more about how you found out that this is what you want to do, and because this is a gift and a talent for you? Yes.
Mm. Yeah, so I discovered astrology like uh, possibly around 4 or 5 years ago as well, and I was so amazed. Like the way that I discovered it was like I always knew that I was a Leo. I was born in July, that made me a Leo. But then I discovered that, well, I also have a moon sign, and my moon sign was Libra, and I was like, oh, okay, so I'm not only Leo, I'm also something else. And then I discovered that my Venus was in Gemini, for example, and then I just found that there's so many more layers to it, and that got me really interested, so I wanted to dive deeper into that, and that's how I discovered about birth charts and solar returns and even transits. Like currently we are in Leo season, for example, because the sun is in Leo. Mercury will enter. Uh, Mercury is in Leo now, and Venus will be in Virgo next week, for example. So also learning what's happening at the moment and how are the planets influencing us right now. There's a lot to learn, and it can get a bit complicated. It can get a bit overwhelming, I imagine. But for me, it's kind of like it's just I just find it so interesting because like everything around us, even the things that we can't see so well, like everything is, you know, moving and doing things, and it's like I'm just so curious to know like how can that influence us as well, just like the moon influences the tides on earth, going in and out. I think that the moon and the sun and all the planets also have an effect on us, in personal ways or sociological ways and generational ways. So I just find it so interesting.
Oh, it's amazing what you said. We are under the influence of all those signs or those planets or whatever it is, the moon. And I'm confused because you said you are, what did you say? You are a Leo and you were born in July. So today is the 30th of July, whether you had already your birthday or you have it today or tomorrow. So I want to congratulate you because I don't know this. So you had your birthday month.
Thank you. Yeah, it's my birthday month. My birthday was 1 week ago, so I had my celebrations.
Oh,
But for me, as a Leo, all Leo season is my birthday.
oh, all your season.
Celebration.
That sounds amazing. And then with the Libra, it is like uh, like balanced, right? It's like a balance. In German we say bell. We use the word. I don't know. It's similar, and I
Mhm.
love that much. So what else are your gifts and talents?
So yeah, what else do I do? Actually, I love so many different things, and I love learning new things. But yeah, I don't think there's ever going to be one thing only that I focus on in my life. But yeah, I love to make music as well. I love singing and playing guitar, and I love yoga. I teach yoga as well, and I love meditation. I love painting. I speak 4 languages. I'm learning Irish at the moment. Actually, I'm from Ireland, but our Irish is not very spoken so much anymore, unfortunately. But now I'm learning Irish as well because I want to get back in touch with my roots. And yeah, I love all sorts of things. I love flowers and herbs and cooking and anything related to nature and music and art and spirituality, I suppose you could say.
Wow, that sounds amazing. That sounds so relaxing and well-being and creative as well, and
Mm,
helping other people to find that side in them, for example.
exactly, yes.
My next question is, do you set goals for yourself or intentions? And what would be one goal if you like to share it for 2024?
Ooh, that's a very good question. Yeah, I set goals for myself actually quite regularly. So I work with the moon as well. Like new moons are great for setting intentions and for setting goals. And there's like certain moons throughout the year that are a bit more like can be more helpful for setting goals, like new moon in Capricorn, for example, new moon in Aries. And I also like for the summer solstice, for example, I like to set a goal for the autumn equinox and so forth. So I have like 3 month cycles for goals and also yearly goals. And actually, an interesting goal that I have for 2024 is to delete Instagram, which is a bit interesting because because I think I really like the platform, but I also think that it can be a bit problematic, and I think there can be other different platforms where I could thrive more and that are less addicting, maybe.
I
So yeah, that's an
totally.
interesting goal that I have for myself. I wonder how that's gonna go.
Yeah, I had the same thought a couple of months ago, and I didn't do it. And I had it with WhatsApp, by the way, and I
Mm,
did it for 1 week, and then
wow.
it came back magically. But it would have been better that when it stayed away. So I can understand as well. There are always two sides, and I think this is the Libra in you, the two sides. Like having
Mhm,
it, it's not bad for connecting to people, and then on the other side, you don't need it because you told me about this life in the beginning, away from the capitalism side, and this is all on Instagram. People are showing their wealthy life or their how they spend their money, let's say, in cars
mm,
or handbags or I don't know. Yes,
yeah.
it's or Instagram would be the first one, and then Facebook. Goodbye. But what I can recommend to you, of course, and I have to say it now, it's Be Connected because it's a fresh platform with new people. Maybe you will like it. I don't know. So I
Mm,
have one last question. I was thinking if I have another question, but we are at the last question now. And this is when people reach out to you after listening to this episode. Do you have special offers or services for the Inspired podcast community?
mm. So at the moment, I do birth chart readings and so the return readings. So these are astrological readings that I do. I have a Calendly link, I suppose, that maybe I could pop somewhere. Calendly.com/Orla Mairead. And I'm also soon going to be, actually, I've started offering spiritual coaching as well, um, for those who could be interested in that. I think a big life goal of mine is also to share the knowledge that I've received over the last few years and over my life and how I now handle my life and how I live my life. I would love for everyone to have, this gratitude and this contentment that I have because it makes life so much more fun. So yeah.
Love the word. I love the word contentment because I have to say, I do book study every morning since February. It is Think and Grow Rich. I know this goes against what we talked about, but today was the topic leadership. And it said there is whether
Oh,
there's leadership by force or leadership by consent. It was something else. Consent, not content, but it's similar, you know. And I
oh.
thought about, yeah, when you say leadership by contentment, this can be you know?
I love that.
See,
New
we
slogan.
created, and I will put your links in the show notes, of course. And what I also loved, and this is what I forgot before I asked the last question, was what you said about the new moon. I was never aware of that, so I don't live according to the moon phases or so. But what you said about setting goals when there's new moon, I like this very much. I have
Mm,
to dive into that. Thank you so
mm,
much for sharing. And now is the time for your last message to the audience.
ooh. Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Caroline, for having me. I'm very grateful. And I suppose my final message would be to find as many moments throughout your day to be grateful for what you already have in your life, to take deep breaths, and to exhale anything that no longer serves, and to keep going. Everything will be all right. Everything's gonna be great. Everything's gonna be awesome, and everything can already be awesome right now if you realize how much you already have in your life. Gratitude is an amazing gateway towards contentment and abundance. So gratitude, gratitude, gratitude.
Absolutely, I agree. And thank you so much for this last message. I will listen to it again because there were so many nuggets in it. Thank you so much for our interview.
Thank you, Caroline.
And see you
So
in
lovely.
the next episode.